What's up guys, Luke here from Luke's Points and Miles, and today I want to do another fun video. Earlier this week we released a state of the collection with all my open accounts. Today I want to kind of continue with that theme, and I want to show you the state of the collection. How many points and miles do I currently have? I mainly wanted to do this video because I preach an earn and burn strategy because I don't ever want to get caught holding the bag when a big devaluation comes. Also, I've made it a strong point to earn transferable currencies lately to book all my travel for 2023. Well, guess what? Plans changed and trips got canceled. So what happens when these plans get canceled? Well, watch today's video and see. I'm holding more points and miles than I want, and in this video, I'll show you what I'm holding as of the end of 2022. I'll also try to explain why the balances are the way they are, because some of them are a little wacky. But first, if you are new here, I talk about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, and travel. If you're interested in that sort of thing, subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, if you get any value or entertainment from this video, slap that like button for the YouTube algorithm. So we will get straight to the point and get started. First things first, let's talk about my American Express membership rewards balance. You'll notice it is almost drained at just over 59,000 MR points. That's because in 2022, I've used over 1 million MR points, with a lot of redemptions being used with the Business Platinum for a 35% boost and the Business Gold for a 25% boost. I executed those redemptions before I really took a dive into the transferable partners, so my redemptions look a little different now. I do have trips scheduled for the beginning of 2023 to places like Fort Lauderdale and Hawaii, and I did transfer a lot of points to partners, and I will get more into specifics when we take a look at those partner balances. It's also important to note that I have an American Express business checking account that will eventually earn 60,000 MR points in a couple weeks as a bonus, and I have a pending 50,000 MR point bonus for my latest Blue Business Plus. In addition to my current MR points pending with Rakuten is 112,000. So that will deposit in just a few weeks. Very shortly, that 59,000 MR point balance will be back over 200,000. That's when I normally start spending. American Express is my favorite card issuer because their cards earn tons of points, they have great multipliers, and they have super transfer partners and AMEX offers as well. And this is a great segue into mentioning today's sponsor, the Max Rewards app. With American Express offers, you can earn tons of extra cash as well as additional MR points. The issue a lot of folks have with AMEX offers is they may not be seeing all of them because there is normally a limited amount you can see at a time, unless you manually, through the AMEX website or the app, add every single one of them. It takes a lot of time, and most people actually forget. I use the Max Rewards app, and the app automatically loads every single offer onto my cards, so I never miss the chance to save some cash or earn those extra MR points. The Max Rewards app has a ton of cool features like sign-up bonus tracking, and it will even tell you which card is optimal for your next purchase. Not only can Max Rewards make the Amex offers much more efficient, but they can also track your welcome bonus spending. We never want to miss those welcome bonuses, right? The app is filled with a ton of features, and there is both a free and more premium version. Use my link below to get a free month of Max Rewards Gold. Do yourself a favor, check it out and see if it is for you. Moving on to this next very popular issuer, I have a handful of CapitalOne miles. Now, I didn't exactly earn a ton of CapitalOne miles in 2022, but I did earn a few through referral links. So if it's 2023 when you're watching this video, feel free to apply for the Venture X through my link in the description. CapitalOne has done some really good transfer bonuses this year, and that's actually what I did with most of my miles. Again, you'll see where those miles went as you continue watching the video, because I did have those trips that were canceled. So these points and miles are kind of in some strange places just sitting there. Now, I'm just moving through my apps, but I'm going to save Chase for last because that's what I've been working hardest on this last quarter of 2022. Next up is my American Airlines account. I have flown just a handful of American Airlines flights this year, but I've been upgraded to first class about half the time. I was able to achieve Platinum Elite status through a couple different techniques, but as of right now, I only have just over 43,000 American Airlines miles. I don't really try to earn them, and I don't really care to use them anytime soon. So I'll just let them slowly collect until I can figure something cool to do with them. That something will likely not be an American Airlines domestic flight. I've actually found a better way to book those. Next up is formerly my favorite airline. I don't actually dislike Delta, but I've decided I'm not going to be loyal to any airlines in 2023. Delta canceled some of my most important flights this year, so I was not able to gain any meaningful status with them. I'm currently holding just over 66,000 Sky Pesos, and I will only use those whenever I need a positioning flight to Detroit or JFK. I'm not interested in connecting in Atlanta every single time I fly anymore. As I scroll through my airlines apps, this is where things get a little screwy. Next up, I have a bank of over 151,000 Flying Blue miles. Luke, why? Well, remember the Paris, France redemption? Well, oddly, no one in my family was actually interested in going to Paris, France. Now, that's weird itself, but I think it was just more like there were better places to go, and I scheduled that trip a little too close to a 10-day Hawaii trip. In all likelihood, it was probably a good idea to cancel that one for now. I'm too poor for back-to-back trips like that. Sometimes I'm a little too ambitious, so I have a good bank of Flying Blue miles to figure something out at the end of 2023, or maybe later than that. I like Flying Blue miles, so I'm not exactly mad about having a good stash sitting there ready to deploy. Next, we have the airline that we were going to fly back to the States with, British Airways. Now, I also use British Airways to book direct flights on American Airlines domestically, so I will use some of these 68,000 BA Avios in no time. I don't need a huge excuse to fly down to Miami for a couple days. Do you? With a lot of these BA Avios, I used CapitalOne and American Express transfer bonuses, gaining 30% extra Avios points. I can't say I'm mad to have these ready to go at a moment's notice. Now, this one is embarrassing. If you're a fan of the channel, you probably remember the redemption where I was taking my wife to Amsterdam for a Valentine's Day-ish trip, right? Well, this morning at 5 a.m., I'm sipping my coffee, and my wife and I, we rarely speak at 5 a.m. But she takes a sip of her coffee and she looks at me and she says, "You know you booked that trip during the Super Bowl, right?" So here's the deal, guys. I did the same thing last year. We were in New Orleans watching the Bengals beat up on the Rams for 3 quarters, and we weren't able to watch the game with my football fanatic 6-year-old son. No way I can do that again. So just today, I canceled that trip. That one really hurt because that trip checked so many boxes. I'm going to try to reschedule for us when it's a little warmer if I'm able to. So now that I'm not going to Paris or Amsterdam, I have almost 214,000 Virgin Atlantic miles waiting in queue. This also doesn't bother me much because I can think of all kinds of stuff I'd like to do right now with those miles. ANA first class to Tokyo maybe? We shall see. Either way, it's a weird scenario for me to have 214,000 Virgin Atlantic miles. By the way, these miles were also created through big transfer bonuses through the major issuers. So that's it for airline miles. I don't really try to earn them, but it seems like I'm stuck with quite a few. What a great problem, right? Moving right along, we have some hotel points. First off, we have my primary hotel, Hilton. Now, I just had the most amazing experience with Hilton customer service today, and I'll talk about that some other time, but it's safe to say that this one experience earned them my loyalty for at least 2023. Right now, I'm sitting on almost 224,000 Hilton Honors points, and I currently have over 1 million Hilton Honors points deployed in future reservations. That's pretty cool. In addition to the points, I have 1 free night certificate available with plans to earn at least 1 more very soon. I stayed at my very first Hyatt this month in Tampa, a Hyatt house. I was very impressed and I really like the Hyatt brand. During that stay, I earned 6,662 points. So that's what I currently have. I do expect more Hyatt stays in the future, however. Marriott is another secondary hotel program for me. I have 34,000 Marriott points, so that will likely get used for a road trip or some type of simple redemption for an overnight somewhere. I have no plans to earn more Marriott points. Now we have my Chase account. 4 weeks ago, I had 0 Chase Ultimate Rewards points, and I've been on quite a tear lately. Now here on the screen, I only have 125,000 Chase UR points, but I have to add that this is from the Business Inc. Preferred. And 30 days after being approved for the Preferred, I was approved for the Inc. Cash. Just today, I met the minimum spend requirement for the 90,000 UR point bonus for that card. And yesterday, I was approved for the Chase Inc. Unlimited. That means that very soon I will have well over 300,000 Chase UR points with basically no plan to use them yet. So even though my points pools are a little low at the moment, within just a few short weeks, I'll be up to well over 500,000 points between Chase and American Express. At that point, I will sit down and I'll figure out travel plans for the end of 2023 and most likely the beginning of 2024. I will basically drain all my current points and then start anew. At some point, I want to do a cash back quarter just to see what that looks like. I like to flirt with the dark side. Well guys, that's all I have today, and I want to state that obviously this video is not about bragging for having points and miles, but it's just a fun video because I'm always curious what others are holding. Give me some insight on your balances and if you save up or do you earn and burn like I do. Also, I'd like some feedback on what to do with all these points and miles. Any suggestions are welcome. Some of my personal thoughts are Tokyo, Japan, Grand Cayman, Mexico, and well, maybe the Super Bowl in a few short weeks. As always, if you've watched all the way to the end, I thank you and I appreciate every single one of you guys.